For years, I've been told that trains in the United States are the worst. Well, today, we're traveling from Washington, D.C. to Greensboro, North Carolina in order to find out if that's true. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. Let's go.
This journey is slated to take about 7 hours, and a flight would be 45 minutes. It'd be about 5 hours to drive, so let's find out why you'd take the train instead of one of those modes of transportation.
No doubt about it, train stations like Union Station here in Washington, D.C. are beautiful structures, architectural gems. After taking a look, I checked to see how my train was doing, and I showed to be on time. So as soon as that was done, I went off to see if there was a lounge, and there was, the Acela Lounge. Now, my ticket did not grant me access, nor was I traveling with United Airlines, which somehow grants you access. Instead, I simply asked, and the attendant said I could check it out. I think you'll see why. It's, well, in pretty rough shape. There was even a protester who, for some reason, had fallen asleep under her sign. Anyway, there was food provided that was less than appetizing, along with drinks. I did like that there was luggage storage, though. I was able to try out the Amtrak app, which was pretty impressive to load my ticket onto my iPhone. This is a great app with plenty of features, including information that you might need when you're traveling by train. I recommend it. I headed to the gate J. When I arrived, it was empty, so I decided to explore Union Station a little bit more. When I got back, about 20 minutes before boarding, the place was packed. It was slammed with people. Now, I fortunately had a business class ticket, so I was able to board at the beginning, but if you don't, or even if you do, I recommend getting to that gate at least 30 minutes before boarding and staying there. The guy in front of me carried his items, whatever they may be, in a trash bag. What do you suppose is in there? Leave me a comment, let me know. Anyway, he was not in business class, but was invited to join the senior citizen who was boarding in front of me. You see, business class passengers and seniors are invited to board first. There's something nostalgic about traveling by train. I think that's one of the main reasons to choose this mode of transportation over others. Despite the long walk down here, I was excited to lay eyes on the train and get on board. Now, there were no instructions provided by anybody from Amtrak, so I knew I had a business class ticket. I just decided to keep walking until I found a coach that said business class on it. It turned out I was able to do that by walking to the very end of the train. I didn't mind because it was a beautiful day outside, and walking past these cars was very exciting, as you can imagine. But I wasn't on yet. I was blocked by the cleaning crew, which was fine. I want a clean place to sit for 8 hours, of course. But once she had finished her work, I headed in. And to be completely honest, that boarding process really left a bad taste in my mouth. Amtrak wasn't looking so good, at least at this point.
But thankfully, before too long, we were on our way out of Washington, D.C. Amtrak provides power at each seat, but when your neighbor starts using it, it can feel a little confining. The seats themselves are quite wide and comfortable. I wish there'd been a center armrest, though. That would have been nice. Non-alcoholic drinks are provided at no cost for business class passengers. As I mentioned, most of these seats are unassigned, meaning you can take any. If you are in a group of 3 or more, the seats at the back here that we're looking at, the ones with 4 seats facing each other, are reserved for you. I decided to explore the rest of the train as well. There's plenty of room above the seats for bags. I had no trouble finding room for mine, even though this particular car was completely full. Here's a coach car, and I found it to be nearly as nice as business class. From there, I went on to the dining car because I was hungry. The menu was definitely basic. Amtrak partners with everyone from Dunkin' Donuts to Starbucks to Boar's Head to provide a little bit higher quality meal. Now, I chose to have a ham and cheese sandwich and some potato chips. It was tolerable. But the real highlight were the views out the window. This was fall in Virginia. It couldn't have been nicer. I could have flown to Greensboro from Washington some 8 or 9 times in the length of time it took to make this train trip. In fact, if you left Washington at the same time I did and flew east, you would reach Frankfurt, Germany by the time I get back to Greensboro. This train was reaching speeds of 70 miles an hour, and that felt fast. But I don't think traveling by train is about getting somewhere quickly. I think it's just the opposite. I think it's about enjoying the journey, about feeling the movement, about seeing the country. As the sun began to go down, I started to regret my choice to sit on the right side of the train. It was pretty hot. We soon caught even more speed, getting as high as 81 or 82 miles per hour. For a good bit of the journey, I was joined by a fly. It reminded me of flying in Emirates first class when paperwork had to be filled out because there was a fly in the cabin. I don't think Amtrak cares quite that much. As some people read, I chose to pull out my iPad. I was able to log on to the internet provided by Amtrak with relative ease. Now that's free, which is a great benefit. I was also able to use my iPad to watch a few movies, which was great because, well, Amtrak doesn't provide any in-seat entertainment. So be sure to bring your own. But if you forget, you've always got the dining menu, the magazine, the instruction card, and the signs around the cabin. I found I had a kind of love-hate relationship with this seat. The footrest is very nice. The tray table is large and very sturdy. It's wonderful having power right here at the seat. But the material was kind of uncomfortable. It's like it didn't breathe, and as a result, I just felt very hot the whole time. In an effort to cool down, I closed the shade. Unfortunately, it kept coming off of its track because of that little notch. So I had to do my due diligence and play my role as a sort of Amtrak volunteer and re-thread the curtain every so often. It was something to pass the time with, but not exactly an easy prospect. Which would you prefer? Would you rather make this journey in an airplane, a car, or a train? Leave me a comment and let me know. And in almost no time, we were in Greensboro. But keep watching to find out how I rated Amtrak.
The best part about traveling with Amtrak, I walked to my apartment from the station. But the really important factor in deciding whether you're going to take Amtrak, I think, boils down to the 4 things that I think are most important when it comes to travel. So, first of all, that's the seat. Now, I found the recline was incredible, really massive and plenty of pitch. The legroom was on point. Unfortunately, the material just didn't breathe. I felt hot the entire time, and I think that was in part because of the material that was in that business class seat. Second of all, the food. It was buy on board and pretty basic. Next time, if I were to travel with Amtrak, I'd probably bring my own food. Third, the crew, the service. They were very friendly and nice, nothing bad or good really to say about them. They did their jobs and seemed to be happy about it, but they certainly weren't going out of their way to do anything. And then finally, entertainment. Well, you had to bring your own. There is nothing that is provided other than a magazine. So that 8-hour trip made me incredibly grateful for having my iPad with me. Now, I will say this. Thank you, Amtrak, for providing power at every seat, including every coach seat. So that was great. But anyway, the real question, the next time I have to travel between here in Greensboro and Washington, D.C., I will not be taking the train. I will be flying again, even if it is a CRJ 200. But between now and the next time, see you in the sky.